Hello everybody. Welcome to Global Hack Week Open Source. And welcome back to my session. This is our part 3 of 3 hands-on with MCP servers. I'll have a recap shortly about what we talked about in part 1 and 2. But first things first, I'm going to send the check-in link. It's also showing up in the banner below. Make sure you go to that check-in link, and we want to make sure everybody gets your Global Hack Week's points. And I am going to introduce myself real quick while you all do that. My name is Wei, a coach here at Major League Hacking. And here's a new fun fact. I once worked from my bed for a week wearing MetaQuest VR goggles. It's very good for your spine and for your posture if you're laying down. So definitely ask me about it if you're interested in how my experience was for that week. With that, let's be sure to check in right now. And I'm going to have our trusty Chrome DevTools MCP to do it for me while everybody does it. You can feel free to use this as well. So I'm going to say use Chrome DevTools MCP to check into this event. Just like how we did it yesterday. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so that everybody can see my screen a little bit better. All right, it's running a new page tool, and I'm hoping a Chrome window will show up just like that. Excellent. And it's going to try to check into the event for me. I'll get my phone ready to go to enter my code. Okay, so here's the manual step. My email is okay. I'm just gonna send it. Okay, excellent. It's now trying to fill the email address for me. I'll always allow for now. And just like that, it should send me an email address with a 6-digit code. Let me get my email pulled up here. Oops. All right, here's the code. And I can tell AI the code is 448578 for me. Very interesting. Every session with a new fun fact. Oh, thanks. Yeah, for sure. We have lots of fun facts. I'd love to hear your fun facts. Hello from Qatar. Happy to see you again, day 4. It's my pleasure as well. Thank you for coming by. If this is your first MCP session, don't worry. We have session recordings for our part 1 and part 2. I'll also kind of have a very brief recap of what we did over those 2 sessions, and you can always watch the recording. And we have another chat here. Chrome DevTools didn't open up in my VS Code. Yeah, so you probably need to make sure the environment variables are set up properly on your machine. And especially like when you have multiple node package versions and things like that, it can get complicated. So definitely something to test out afterwards and make sure it's working properly. You can try to run the Chrome DevTool MCP's command locally. Just make sure it runs first before using it in Copilot. So you can go to show configuration and you'll see the exact command that's being run. So just make sure you can run that in your terminal as well. Hello, welcome back, welcome back. So just like that, we have successfully checked into our event. It was able to help me log into my account. There was a human in the loop process where I needed to give it a code that was sent to me, 2-factor authentication. And yeah, now I came back to the events page registered and checked into the event. So just like that, I was able to get my global hack points. With that, I'm going to switch over my banner on the bottom to ask me any questions in chat. So feel free to drop any messages to engage with me throughout this workshop. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Now, let me just start with a quick summary of what we have covered so far. In part 1 of our hands-on with MCP session, we learned about what is an MCP server, what is an MCP client, and we did a live demo of 4 different MCP servers: GitHub MCP, Context7 MCP, Chrome DevTools MCP, which we just used, and MongoDB MCP to interact with our databases. Oh, and just going back a little bit, GitHub helps manage all your GitHub related stuff like repos, accounts, profile. We also showed a way to create gists, which are code snippets on GitHub that you can do. And we also showed you Context7, which is a great MCP tool for AI to read up-to-date latest documentation. And yesterday, here's a recap of what we did. We started off with a Wordle challenge, and it was a fail, AI 0, human 1, if we remember, but it did its best. And then we started building our first MCP server, that is the Hacker News MCP server, to read and analyze Hacker News articles. We tried a vibe coding approach, and I actually published that repo at HN MCP server vibe yesterday. So this is a single file MCP server that doesn't have any tests or anything like that, and it was generated with 1 prompt. So like a one shot, if you remember. That was very, very quick, and it was working just fine. And then we learned about GitHub's spec kit, which we used to really standardize our development process using the best practices. And we couldn't finish everything yesterday, but I did go back and wrap up, just let the AI complete all the remaining tasks on it. So we'll go ahead and take a look at what it was able to produce. And then we didn't get to the second or the third and fourth bullet points, so we'll go through them today. Here's the part 3 today's session plan. We'll do a warm-up again. We'll have a attempt to Wordle, and this time we'll try to use OpenAI's GPT-4 or GPT-5 model. I'm hoping that will perform a lot better than the other models we tried. And then we're going to test out the MCP server that we just built yesterday using the spec kit approach. I'll show you all the files it was able to generate, tests, and things like that using the spec kit process, spec-driven development process. And then I will show you how to interact and test out our MCP server using an MCP client and MCP inspector. Those are very, very helpful tools to test out any MCP servers in the wild. And we will open source this project together. So there are some things that I like to do before I open source the project to make it look pretty and friendly. So definitely stay tuned for that very shortly here. If we have time, we'll publish our first MCP server to the MCP registry, so anyone in the world can discover it and use it on their MCP clients. And then lastly, if we have time, we will build our first MCP client. So like maybe a chatbot or something that integrates with Hacker News MCP server. So instead of just using our MCP clients like Copilot, we're actually able to put it on the web for anyone to chat with. So if we have time, we'll go through and implement that using Google ADK. If not, we can do it at the next Global Hack Week. Sounds good? Give me a thumbs up or a +1 in chat if everything sounds good to you. And in the meantime, I'm going to open up the Wordle page for today, and let's see if we're able to solve it together. Awesome. So solve today's Wordle challenge at using Chrome DevTools MCP. All right. Do y'all think GPT-5 will be able to solve it for us. By the way, if Wordle is something you do daily, maybe you would want to switch off the stream for maybe 3 to 5 minutes and come back. But here it is. Our Copilot agent using the GPT-5 model is now spinning up our Wordle website. It's going to close all the advertisements for us, so just like a user would do. I'm hoping it will find the X button and click it really quickly here. And in the meantime, we got so many people in the chat here. Thank you so much for leaving a message. Okay, so it looks like Copilot is wanting to execute a script, so let's do that. I don't know. It doesn't look like GPT-5 is much better than what we did yesterday. So far, it's taking a little bit. Okay, so it says click. Okay, it was able to find the close button on the modal. That was cool. I noticed that GPT-5 is slightly slower, so let's see what we can do. All right, so it's wanting to execute another script. Okay. Hold on. How did it solve it in one try? How is that possible? How is that possible? Did GPT-5 cheat? That's crazy. Is that today's word for real? All right, let's try it manually here. That's crazy. So I don't know. I think it cheated, but GPT-5 was able to solve our Wordle challenge in one try. That's crazy. Anyways, so for today's session, okay, so some of you have already done the word order of the day. Excellent. So maybe you helped our GPT-5 a little bit there, but I'm going to close this for now. That was cool. So you can see the power of MCP servers. Using Chrome DevTools MCP, our Copilot agent is able to open up a browser, go to the website we told it, and actually read the website and interact with the modals and ads and skipping and closing things and figuring out how to type and click on the different letters to complete the Wordle challenge. And it finished in one try. That was pretty impressive. Now, let's talk about our MCP server. So just to recap, our MCP server wraps the Hacker News website. What's the domain name right here? Yeah, news.ycombinator.com. So our MCP server wraps this website and gives our AI agents a way to retrieve the latest news articles that are being discussed, that are being shared on Hacker News front page. And also we have the search functionality, so we can search for posts relating to a specific topic as well. So that is our MCP server, and let's go through and look at the code here. So if you look here, this is all the tasks completed. If we look at specs, this is what we talked about yesterday. Using the spec kit, it was able to generate a plan with specifics of everything that we're building. It also generated tasks. These are, maybe I will open this up in a better preview, markdown preview here. So you can see all the phases that it was able to complete. Anything that has an X means the task has been completed. And you can see a lot of these tasks are checked off, so they're all completed. Now, if we look at our code base, we have our source folder that has a service. So this is all generated by AI. I was using Sonnet, Cloud Sonnet 4.5 model. So we have a very nice service. We have tools, one file for each tool that we talked about. Get front page tool with thorough descriptions and names and things like that to prompt the AI agent. And we have get item, get latest post, search, get user, and things like that. We also have a types file that has everything that will be exposed throughout this project and to the AI agent. And we have some utilities. So all those were generated by AI, and that's not it. It also generated all the tests. So it generated the contracts of the different tools. It has integration tests of the different tools. And it also had a test for our Hacker News API service, as well as some unit tests for the other parts of the application. So with the help of our spec kit, along with our Copilot agent using the Claude Sonnet 4.5, yesterday it was still preview, but now I think it's fully entered general availability, I guess. So with the help of Sonnet 4.5 model, we're able to complete this like full-fledged open source application that's a lot more fleshed out and maintainable, testable, compared to our vibe coded one-shot project. That's basically just one file. All right. So we also have docs. I specifically asked it to create some docs. So there's like API docs, architecture decisions, and contributing docs for open source contributors to help with the project. All right, so let's take a look in the chat here. I noted in the last session when you executed specified plan, it generated code too. How to avoid that? Yes, so the idea is, we're talking about these suggested actions here, right? Spec kit constitution, spec kit specify. So constitution is here we can hover over this, update the project constitution. So these are things that every single command will honor, like it will follow throughout this project. Specify is creating a specific task or feature specification. You shouldn't have to define the technological implementations. Plan, I think the purpose of this plan is actually think through the technologies that will be used and the tools that will be used. So there are two ways you can prevent it from generating raw code here. You can use constitution to specify that when using spec kit plan, do not start generating code. Only generate code with spec kit tasks. You can definitely add that to your constitution so that our coding agent honors that. Another way is to just keep up to date with the spec kit library and framework. You can open an issue there or see if there are any open issues to address this, because the purpose of this command is not to implement code. So I'm sure they will be addressing that issue if other people are facing it as well. Hello, Lily. Welcome back. Thank you for your kind words there. Hope you're doing well as well. Now, all right, so now we have a full-fledged project. How do we test this? Does anybody remember how we tested the vibe-coded version of Hacker News MCP server? Let me know in chat. Do you remember how we did that? It has something to do with .vs code folder, if anyone remembers. Let me know in chat if you remember how we did that. And in the meantime, we have a question. Where can I find the recordings? So you can go to youtube.com majorleaguehacking/streams, and you can search for MCP. And you'll see all the sessions that has to do with MCP, and specifically, these are the 3. And we're currently live on this one, but you can always go back and watch part 1 and part 2. Hope that helps. Here is the direct link. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. The way to test your MCP server, I mean, there are many ways to do it with different clients and stuff like that. With VS Code, yes, we have exactly. So we're going to create a mcp.json file inside the VS Code folder to help test this MCP server. Because we're inside this project directory, it makes it super easy to test from here. So I'm going to just create some specification here for our MCP server. And here's a template. I'm just going to fix it using the actual project name here, hn mcp server. And the command, if you remember, we have a Node.js project. And if we look at packages.json, you'll notice the main file is dist/index.js, right? So we can actually just say node script, and then the path is dist index.js, something like that. And then now you see immediately I can start this server. So I can click start and I can look at logs, show output, and you'll see in the log message here, Hacker News MCP server is now running and discovered 5 tools. And we can actually click this tool icon and head over to our HN MCP server section and see the 5 tools that are exposed. Very good job. All right, so now we can ask us some questions. All right, what is the purpose of env in that file? Very good question. So our MCP server is not authenticated, right? It's a public MCP server. Anyone can run it and they'll hit the same endpoint. But sometimes you might need to authenticate the user or identify the user. So for example, if I have like a GitHub MCP server, I want the user to be able to provide their credentials so that when I interact with our GitHub MCP server, I can interact my GitHub resources, the user's GitHub resources. So that's why the env comes in. So some tools can accept like access token or something like that. It just depends on how the tool is set up, and you can provide your token here to identify yourself when interacting with the server. But since we have a public server that doesn't require authentication or user identification, we don't need the env. Hope that helps. All right. What's next? Okay, so let's head over to the chat window here, and we can start asking it some questions. I'm going to switch over to Grok, our free model here, just to save on some tokens there. I will say use Hacker News MCP server to find latest front page articles. Maybe find 20 latest front page articles. So I'm hoping by putting this in, it's able to identify that tool, which is called search posts in the HN MCP server. That's pretty cool. So actually, I put front end articles instead of front page articles. So it correctly assumed I was trying to search for front end. That's pretty cool. So let's go with it. Allow. And we can actually click on it to expand and see the output that's returned. And we can actually head over to our response here. And you can see 20 front-end related articles. All right, thank you for asking the question. Okay, so that works. Anything else? Let's see if there's any one interesting article here that I want to ask more about. The front-end treadmill, what is that about? Provide an on the story and comments. All right, so now it's fetching the URL directly, and it's also fetching all the comments for this article, the story, using the get item tool call. And now it's able to provide us with an executive summary of that article, as well as the different comments on people who agree and disagree with the article. Yeah, cool. So using Hacker News MCP server that we built, user can easily integrate with Hacker News, read articles, analyze articles, look at comments, and all from their MCP client. They don't have to go to the Hacker News website anymore using this MCP server. So everything seems to be working fine, and we can also just double check and run some tests. So if you look at the Node.js project, I can ask our Copilot to do it for us. Run tests and linting and formatting to make sure. Run build tests, linting and formatting to make sure this project is ready for prime time. Something like that. And I'm hoping, yeah, so it figured out we need to run this build script to build the project, npm test to run all the tests. And you can see there is a bunch of tests, as you can see here, that has been created. And then it's going to run the linting. Linting passed, and then it's going to run the formatting, and formatting passed as well. So now everything is good to go. The only thing I would change is for the README. I mean, this is good as is, right? This is a very good README as is. But let's just publish it first, and then let's see what happens. Just a couple things I noticed. The package lock JSON is gray, which should not be. So let's remove that from our git ignore. That should not be gray. It should be committed. And then the mcp.json I feel like is pretty useful, so I'm going to make it available. So make it present in the VS Code project. And how can I do that? I think I can do something like this here. Miscellaneous. So this will include mcp.json. That did not work. So yeah, because it's excluded here. That's fine. So I'm going to just add it manually. Add .vs code mcp.json, and you'll see, notice like it's currently being ignored. So we can use -f to forcibly include this in our project and commit it. So now everything's good. I'm going to chore add missing files, missing dependency. Publish. Okay, actually, so you notice one nice thing about SpecKit is it actually created a new branch. If you look on the bottom here, we're on 001, Hacker News MCP server branch. So it makes collaboration super easy because you can just make a pull request to the master branch, right? And then have it perform code reviews on it. But in this case, I'm just going to merge it into the master branch. So I will use, first I'll do a git status. Here's the branch name I'm currently on, and I'm going to switch over to main. And I'm going to git merge the feature branch. So now our main branch is good to go. I'm only doing this because I haven't really pushed this project up to GitHub just yet, but if you're collaborating with other people, you'll want to push your feature branch and create a pull request for adding your features. So now I'm going to create a new project, new repo here, new repository, and call it HN MCP server. So this is me open sourcing this project, and I'll grab the description from README a little bit. What did I do for the last project? The Vibe one. I'll just copy the description there. MCP server for Hacker News using Algolia Hacker News API. Public, everything looks good. Create, and I'm going to, now I have a new repo, I'm going to upload some files. So I will do this. I think I just need these two commands. We should be good to go. Okay, so the branch name is main, that's why. I will change that to main, and we should be good to go. Refresh. Excellent. So now I have successfully open sourced a new project called Hacker News MCP server. And here it is. Looks pretty nice. And one thing I like to do is I like to improve the display on the homepage or on the README to have some more badges maybe. So I will ask AI to help me, and I'll just vibe code this piece. I'll open up a new session here, and I will say I'll use Sonnet 4.5 here. I'll say add badges to readme.md. And in the meantime, I'm going to plug in my open source project called Socialify. CI, here's the URL. This is my other open source project I created during a hackathon, and I can put in my repo name. And now we have a very nice graphic that I can share with people. So I'm going to say a description. Maybe I'll add a newspaper emoji. This one. And then stars. I'll hide the stars for now. Cool. And then maybe I'll have a logo as well. So Hacker News SVG logo. Let's see if we can find a good one. I think it's just the Y Combinator logo, I guess. HN, Hacker News. What's the best logo here, everybody? Maybe I'll just do the Y flat icon. I'll just do the Y maybe. Oh, cool. There's a bunch of options here. I'll just do the orange Y here. And it looks like there's a URL to it, and we can probably just download it raw. Okay, now we'll just plug in here, SVG logo. Okay, perfect. And we can change the background a little bit if we want. Source code, JetBrains Mono. Okay, I like this font. It looks like a newspaper font. And I'm going to copy Markdown. I can then pop it straight into my project here. And keep. Now let's just take a quick look at what the AI was able to generate for us with the different badges here. Reopen with Markdown preview, and yeah, it all looks great. And it looks like the build status icon is no good, so we probably need to remove that for now. All right, now everything's good. I will add a commit. Add readme badges. Push. Okay, just like that. If I refresh, I should be able to see our new graphic. And yeah, we just open sourced our project. All right, now let's head over to our next section, which is, okay, so we open sourced our project. We used our MCP client, which is our Copilot agent, to interact with it, and it all worked. I just want to show everybody real quick the MCP inspector. So using the MCP inspector, we will be able to inspect any MCP server. And I'm going to just look for it, and MCP inspector. So this should open up a documentation link here, which is a tool. This is an official tool made public by the Model Context Protocol.io, and you can get started. So I will just run this npx Model Context Protocol Inspector with a command. So I can go in my terminal here, and I can put in node dist index.js, right? So this will install the Model Context Protocol Inspector. You can do this with any MCP server in the wild. It's going to take a little bit of time to install. Okay, and a page like this will show up. You'll see a few different options, and you can play with them. But here we have our argument node dist index.js. Let's try connect, and connected. Everything's working, and you can see some options here. I can click list tools, and this will give us all the tools that are currently available for our AI agent. So these are all the tools that we defined in our project, right? And I can go to get front page tool, for example, and I can say get the page 0, hits per page 30, and run. So this will give us some results here. And you'll see all the articles that will be returned to the AI coding agent or any AI agent using this MCP server. So all this information is available to the AI agent. So just want to show that real quick, the MCP inspector. Very, very useful for development or exploring open source MCP servers. Okay, now we have a few more steps to take here in order to publish our MCP server fully. So first, we might need to publish our MCP server to our npm registry. So you see here, like, our package is not found. So our Hacker News MCP server is not yet on the npm registry, right? That's no good, and we need to fix that so that people can actually use it on their computers using the npx command, or like they can use it without having to download our Hacker News MCP server project code directly. So that means we'll need to publish it to the npm registry. And npm registry. So we'll do that real quick together here. I already have an account. This doesn't look great. Okay, that's better. I can log into my account if I can figure out my password here. Just give me 1 second. I think my username is... Has anyone used npm registry before? Let me know in chat if you have. npm. All right, excellent. So I just found my credentials here. One-time code. I will save it, sure. And here's my, oh, incorrect. Okay, better. So we are now inside the npm registry, and I'm going to publish it. So here you'll see a lot of different packages that everybody open sourced. And if you search specifically for MCP servers, you'll notice there are a lot of MCP servers that's been open sourced by other organizations. So our goal today is to publish our own MCP server here so that anybody in the world can access it and use it. So I'm going to head over to packages, and let's look in the documentation on how to publish a package. Getting started. Packages. Contributing packages to the registry. So, okay, so we have someone in chat who have used it, made a reusable drop-down menu and component. Yeah, that's excellent. So a lot of very useful UI components can be downloaded directly from the npm registry. So that's very useful there. So we're going to publish public package here. Okay. I don't remember how to do it, so let's ask AI, right? Why am I reading the documentation here? I haven't done it in a while, so this is a good opportunity for me to do this with the help of AI right now. Help me publish to npm registry. Okay, npm ignore. So it's modifying our package.json file here. That makes sense. Keep. And it's creating a npm ignore file. That sounds good. Essentially, anything you publish, whatever you publish should not include your source file. It should only be the build files, the distribution files in the dist directory. So we'll keep going, allow. All right, and we're going to use the npm pack dry run command. Looks like it worked. And now I think it's time to add user authentication. I'm going to use npm login. And go to this URL to log in. Asking for two-factor authentication again. And just like that, I am logged in. And now it's going to verify package name is available. So let's see if it's available. Looks like it's not found. So unless one of you snatch it from me like right now, I will be able to publish it, hopefully. Let's see what happens. I'm going to do npm pack. I think, was that already done? npm pack. Yep, that was already done, I think. And this is version 1.0. That sounds good. And we're going to, I'll follow the steps and actually test it so that there are no surprises, and I can do an MCP server help. Yep, it works. So now I'm going to click npm publish. I might just click this command here, so or this button there, so I don't have to do it manually. Okay, so it's running tests, running our builds. Okay, authenticate your account once more. Okay. And just like that, our package is now published, fully published. We can use this command to view it on the npm registry. Yep. And we can go to our website and refresh here. And boom, just like that, we now have our HN MCP server fully published. And you even see the badge that previously said package not found is now showing the correct version. So I see it says here from npm coming soon. This is no longer coming soon. And I think you can actually use the npx command now, if I'm not mistaken. So let's actually try it together. npx HN MCP server. Yes, it works. All right, so now everything's working. That's excellent, and we can actually try out our model context protocol inspector again. And this time we're going to use our full package name on the npx under npx. I'm also going to paste that in the chat here if anyone wants to try it out on their computers. So that is the command I'm running right now. I can click connect and list tools, everything's working. Search tools, search post, I can search for MLH and run. And it works. We got some matches on MLH. Let's search for, what's another thing we want to learn about? OpenAI, maybe, just to see what are the new things happening there. And oh, it looks like these are some older posts. So we definitely can, use tags and filters to make sure like we're searching the latest posts, including the dates and things like that. But we won't worry about that from the MCP inspector. Okay, so everything looks good there. I'm going to just ask AI to make some updates to our README then. The package is now published to npm registry under please update README accordingly. And in the meantime, I'm actually going to generate a link that you can use to add the MCP server to your project. So you can see like there's currently no link. If you want to set it up, you have to follow these steps and set it up. So I'm going to show you, there's a website for it, generate add to add MCP link or something like that. So here's an example for cursor. Here's like you can generate a link for cursor. They have a website for it. And then there should also be one for VS Code. There is one. I know there is one. VS Code MCP link creator. All right, excellent. So that all looks good. And the AI has updated our code, or our README a little bit. Claude desktop. Yep. So I'm just gonna say, always use always use npx. Clean up the README to be more user-facing instead of contributor-facing, and add examples to VS Code and cursor. To add MCP to VS Code and cursor. Use context 7 for docs. So that's that, and I'm actually going to come in here and just paste in our command here and hn MCP server. Yep. And the name of the MCP server is going to be hn MCP server. So here you can see there is a section for environment variables for like something like API key, which is not important in our use case for now. And I'm gonna rename it install Hacker News MCP. And maybe just install MCP. And then we can do the same thing for cursor. So the cursor button is a little bit bigger, which might be a problem. Copy deep link, copy web link, click to copy. Okay, so I'll click that, and all right, so it looks like our Copilot AI agent was able to make some updates to our README. There are some duplications, looks like, and VS Code. Okay, excellent. And then cursor. I'm going to include this link, direct link here. And then I'm also going to include this link here. Next to VS Code. And I'll bring the Claude desktop to the bottom here. Actually, I'll just remove it for now. And we don't really need that note here for now. Okay, let's take a look at the preview of this file before we push it. So we have our Hacker News MCP server, connect, yep, search tools, VS Code, GitHub Copilot. Okay, excellent. The only change I will make is I'm going to hide the manual instructions. So you notice under VS Code, here we have some like manual instructions here. So I'm just gonna, there's a way to do it called using the, I think, detail and summary. If I'm not mistaken, I might use Copilot for this, to be honest. So I will do something like modify, wrap detailed instructions inside a manual setup link section that is collapsed. I don't know what it's called. I think it's just called detail and summary type of thing. So let's see what happens. Nope, it didn't do it. Oh, okay, it did it. It did it. But it wrapped everything, which is not what I want. I'm just gonna wrap the quick start, and then I will just wrap these sections. So yeah, manual setup, perfect. And then I will add manual setup here as well. Something like that. So now let's reopen this editor again. And here, VS Code, manual setup, cursor, manual setup, perfect. Looks like looks like I had the wrong ending closing tag. Let me fix that right now. Details, missing the S here. And then try again. Much better. And I'm just going to add a other client section as well so that we can cover everybody. Markdown. Yes. Other clients. Let's see if our Copilot can. Yeah, there it is. Hacker News, MCP server. Okay, so now we have covered all the scenarios, really, in my opinion. Let me know if we're missing anything that you can think of. And this MCP server supports any client, any MCP client. So not just the ones that we talked about. All right, let's look at the chat here. Can you drop these prompts here? Oh, sorry, I just saw that message. Can you explain like which prompt you're looking for? Might have gone a little bit too far before I saw your message. This one? Hi 404. Welcome. We just published our first MCP server in the MCP registry. Sorry, in the NPM registry. We're going to publish it on the MCP registry shortly though. One more before this, so let's scroll up here. So I just said the package is now published to NPM registry. Please update README accordingly. Because previously the README says it wasn't yet published. That's all. All right, I'm going to actually bump the NPM version as well. So hold on. Let me just actually do this release. And then I'm going to publish this, and then I'm actually going to create a new release for it, 1.0.1 for documentation changes. Yep. All right, excellent. So now I'm going to do release 1.0.1. And I'm going to use our AI to help us, right? So we'll just use the free model there from Grok, and I will say publish new NPM version for my package. Yes, woohoo for the MCP server. And okay, view 1.0.0. We're gonna push to production there. And npm publish. Okay, so pre-publish, we're doing a clean, build, and test. That's all very useful stuff. Maybe we should also run the lint and format. I missed it. I wonder if my README has some issues. I have to put in my code one more time for publishing it. It's right here. Uh-oh, something unexpected. Okay, but it did go through. So now, if you would like to check it out, we have our brand new package, version 1.0.1, published a few seconds ago with up-to-date documentation on how you can install our Hacker News MCP server in VS Code and Cursor. Oh, shoot. This button doesn't click. Great. We need to fix that. Why doesn't it click? Let's look at their source code real quick and we'll fix it right now. Oh, I see. It's because it's using like a proprietary protocol, VS Code, MCP install. So if you're on GitHub, it should work fine. But on like when you're using something else, it doesn't really work. So if you're on GitHub, actually on GitHub, it also doesn't work. If you're on a website, it will work fine. So if I click this, it'll work fine. It will actually show up. So let's fix that. There's a fix for it. And I actually opened up a pull request for this. They have not merged it, unfortunately. You'll see my pull request, replace VS Code URL. This is something I opened last month. Hasn't been reviewed. So I'm actually going to, this is a great opportunity to open up our GitHub MCP server. Let me just install that one more time. And open up a new tab here. And I can say something like, read this GitHub issue using GitHub MCP server and fix the link. So this is now going to grab all the details about the pull request that I opened, read the text of it, read the context of it, read what we're trying to do here, and fix the link for us. See, it's reading my issue, my pull request. And just like that, it is fixed. So this URL should open up in VS Code just fine. And the way we can test it is just by copying this link, go into the browser, open it, and it will say open up in Visual Studio. And just like that, it showed up right here with all the correct command and parameters and arguments. So that all sounds good. I will keep the changes. I will bump the version one more time just for the sake of it. And I will also add, in the meantime, add the format and link to our pre-published script so that our code is nice and clean. We make sure everything's good to go there. Lint and format. So these commands look a little bit awkward. So I think check is good enough. Format. I think check does both linked and format. So I'm just gonna keep the linked one there, and then I will actually just swap these two real quick. So format and then format fix is kind of typically how I like to do it. And then I guess we can just split it out, lint and format, and then we can add it here. Perfect. Copilot knows what I want. All right, npm install, npm run lint, npm run format. Okay, so format produced some errors. Let's fix that. Format fix. All good. Now we can say chore update to 1.0.2 and then run the npm publish one more time. I'm just typing these commands now because AI helped us identify which commands we need to run. Now I remembered and I can just run them myself. Okay, now I have to enter my code one more time. npm is being very, very secure right now. Okay, published. So now if you go to my HN MCP server and click on the VS Code install MCP link, it should open up our MCP installation page, and it looks like this. All right, excellent. So that is like the majority of the work. Let me go to chat. Does anybody have any questions? 404. Okay, no worries, 404. Take care. You can try out our Hacker News MCP server later. Just bookmark the URL here. Okay, so far, let's just do a quick recap. We tested out our MCP server locally. We ran MCP inspector and made sure it was working there as well. We updated our MCP server for open source and added some nice instructions in the README and things like that. We also published it to npm registry. So anyone can use it now. If we go to our GitHub page, anyone can use it now, right? But we still want to publish it onto the MCP registry. So npm is just a generic platform package registry that anybody can publish any Node.js packages to. But MCP registry is a registry where only MCP servers are published. So we want to make sure everybody knows about our server, and that way they can use it and try it out. Let's head over to the MCP registry website. And MCP registry, and you'll see a GitHub article about it, about them releasing it. I'll post that in the chat here, but you'll also see the primary repository Git repo for this registry with some instructions. So this includes things like publish my MCP server, and that's exactly what I want to do here. So I'm going to click publish my MCP server, and here is a complete guide, and we can just tell AI to read this page and publish it. That sounds great. So I'm going to copy that, and I will just paste that in. And we will use GPT-5 codecs just for fun. But in the meantime, let's just kind of read this real quick. This is a full tutorial. We're going to create a server.json file, authenticate with the registry, publish our server, and verify the server appears in the registry. That sounds easy enough. Your server must be publicly accessible. Yep, that is correct. And we have a few deployment options, and you can see like one of them is package deployment, and we have actually already deployed it to npm. So we should be all good there. But you can also deploy it to like remote deployment if you support streamable HTTP protocol, which I showed yesterday. My MLH MCP server actually has that support through the HTTP protocol. You can read more about it if you're interested to see how that one is done. All right, now we need to install the publisher command line tool. That sounds good. Initialize your server.json. Configure the server details, MCP server details. Make sure we have a nice package name. And authenticate and publish. Right? So we can definitely just go through it ourselves, but since it has a very nice tip prompt for our AI agent, I'm just going to run that for us. So in the meantime, you can actually look at what this is about, read these two articles, evaluate the best way to publish to the registry. Actually, I was looking at our CI and it is failing. Formatting check. I see. So I actually need to fix that. Remember, we changed the script here, so this should just be npm run format, and that should do it. That's why this build was failing formatting check. All right, so I'm going to fix that and just push that real quick. All right, in the meantime, you can see our GPT-5 codex has asked us to create a file. I'm going to say allow, and it's added a MCP name, which is my GitHub username /hn MCP server. It is now adding a JSON file with some information about our project here. And I'm multitasking a little bit here. You can see our job failed again. So let's take a look at what failed. I see, test coverage. So we will skip the test coverage step in our CI so that we don't get those errors for now. We'll fix it later. Test coverage, we'll skip for now. Push. Okay, don't show again. That sounds good. All right, in the meantime, our AI agent has created some files: package.json, server.json, publish MCP server. I see. So it's actually going to be using our CI to publish, but for now, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say skip, stop, publish it locally instead of setting up a CI. So hopefully that will help it to kind of steer it to the right direction. We want to just publish it locally from our computer, and we won't be setting up the CI for it for now. So I have actually already deleted that file, so the AI is not going to find it. All right, while it's looking at that, let's just take a look and see if our pipeline succeeded, and it did, so all good. Green check mark. Okay, so it wants to edit our file one more time. Let's see what it changed. So added a section called publish MCP. Okay, that sounds good. And it added some README, publishing. I don't think it's necessary on the README. Maybe in the contributing guide, but not in the README. So I'm going to remove this. And we're going to click run. This will validate the server.json. So it looks like it's trying really hard to validate our schema and it's not finding the schema. It's not finding the schema. And this might make more sense if we can look through it together here. I don't think there is any need to verify the schema in this case, so I might just do a stop and not worry about it, kind of guiding AI to the right direction. Maybe GPT-5 codecs isn't the best option. I might just do Claude Sonnet 4.5 then, in that case. And I will just say publish, MCP publisher, publish. And we'll just do it from by hand now. Run publish MCP. MCP publisher command not found. So if we look at how to install it, we do need to install this package here with Homebrew. Let's install it right now. We also don't have brew installed. Fantastic. So let's do this. That also didn't work. So what else can we do? Error opening archive, unrecognized archive format. I see. So I suspect like we didn't get this package installed properly. So let's just install Homebrew and install it the right way. So here is the command to install Homebrew. Of course, I can also use the CI method. Preferred automated CI flows to do it, so that might make sense. Okay, so now let's try to install it. Brew install MCP publisher. Brew is still not found. I might need to open a new terminal here. Okay. Brew already installed. Okay, excellent. So now we can do something like npm run publish MCP. And we can log in as GitHub. Let's go to our GitHub here, continue, pop in our code, authorize, perfect. Now we can publish. Oh, I haven't, here, there. Okay. npm package is missing required MCP name field, package.json. So we already have it, I just haven't pushed it or committed or pushed it, so let's check now. Try again. Still not there, still not available. So bad request, failed to publish server. npm package. Okay, so maybe, okay, I see. So I need to bump the version. That's what I need to do, and publish it to npm. So 1.2.1.0.2 package JSON. That's fine. And then we're gonna do 1.0.3, 1.0.3, and I will run npm install. Oh, that's my GitHub token. Okay, and then I will add our MCP. Okay, all right, that's good. All right, so now we will commit. We will run publish, npm run publish, npm publish. Okay. And we'll validate everything, make sure everything looks good. And published. Okay, open. Get my code again. Okay, published 1.0.3, all good. Now I'm going to push to GitHub as well, and npm run MCP publish now. What's the exact script here? Publish MCP is what I meant. Okay. In less than a second, it was able to publish successfully to Model Context Protocol registry, MCP registry. Now this is available there. And we can actually scroll down to verify publication section and try this out. So you'll see this URL, we can just go to it. And then we can search by HN MCP server. And just like that, we got a MCP server for Hacker News API access. And that is our npm registry HN MCP server. All right. Cool. I know that was a lot of information. If you would like to try it out for yourself, I highly recommend you just kind of follow along the documentation. With the help of AI, you can build your first MCP server and publish it to the cloud. All right, and lastly, shall we do this real quick? We have about 30 minutes left. Build our first MCP client using Google ADK. Will that be helpful? I don't know if there's enough time though, so maybe we'll save that for the next Global Hack Week. And during that session, we can talk more about how to build agents for customer facing, like client facing agents. You can pop into a website and it can connect to MCP servers, connect to LLMs, anything you can think of, talk to other agents, use any tool calls available, and yeah, and we can build something with Google Agent Development Kit. With that, does anybody have any questions? Anything you want me to kind of go back and review? Feel free to try this out. You can just click this button, install MCP to your VS Code, or add to cursor, and it should work like a charm. One thing I noticed was maybe we can do something fun here. This is the Model Context Protocol server, right? So I think they have documentation here, MCP registry. Okay, so we have a question in chat before I jump into this thing. Can we make custom MCP servers for Postgres? Of course you can. So can you tell me a little bit about what you're thinking? like how would your MCP server talk to your Postgres? Like what would be the input and what would be the output? We can flesh that idea out a little bit more. Yeah. So in the meantime, I want to just do something really quick and vibe code a MCP registry MCP server. Just let me know in chat and then we'll come to you. So I want to build an MCP registry MCP server, which means like I can just ask my AI, what are some MCP servers available? And I can search and add them to my project very easily. I think that's a great idea. Let me try that. Okay, so we have a couple questions in chat. Like creating database and seeding data. Okay, excellent. So there is already a Postgres. I think it already exists. So let's kind of look for it together. All right. See, you can, there's Postgres connector, Postgres MCP. So you can actually talk with your Postgres server. So this one specifically has 63 tools and 10 resources and 10 prompts. So that is very, very powerful, right? So let's head over here and check out this project. So this is the project here. We'll do a quick Google search, Enterprise Postgres MCP server. And using this, you can connect to the database. There are so many MCP tools available for you. You can create schema, you can read schema, you can create new database tables, you can just take a look at all the available tools out there. So definitely check it out. I'll post that in chat. Oh shoot, I can't click my comment window for some reason. Let me close that. I can't type anymore, which is unfortunate. Might be my keyboard actually, hold on. Okay, it was my keyboard. I got water in my keyboard and it's not working anymore. So I'm gonna use my computer keyboard here and paste in a link. All right, excellent. All right, next question. Perfect, actually you need to follow a recording all the way from scratch to get proper understanding. Yeah, of course, you can always go to YouTube and watch it back. What is my view on building MCP server for payments? Very dangerous right now, just because AI is very unpredictable. You can add guardrails and things like that, but for me, like, I'm not confident just yet. I know there are a number of companies right now building payments on top of MCP using blockchain and things like that. So I'm curious that, you know, where that will take us, but it's pretty scary. New territory. All right, you're so very welcome. How many points are you required to get for swags? So check your email. It will tell you all the activities and challenges that you need to complete to earn swags. It is not related to points, but rather the number of activities that you're required to do. It will all be listed on your points email. All right, we have 20 minutes left. Like, I just want to stretch it real quick, like the time that we have left, and just create a new MCP registry MCP server, and I will create a new folder in my downloads. I'll call it MCP registry. MCP server. And I will fully vibe code this one. I won't use SpecKit, just in the interest of time. Build a TypeScript MCP server that queries MCP registry. See docs at this link, and implement so we have servers / servers. Implement anything that begins with /servers, anything that starts with /servers, and maybe I'll also do the health check. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe a ping. Implement anything and ping. Prepare for open source distribution. What else can I think of here? Use TypeScript best practices. Package name will be MCP registry, MCP server. And publish on npm. Okay, anything else? Use context 7 for latest docs. Let me know if I missed anything. All right, I'm going to click go and go through our chat while it's building it for us. Excellent. So what is the best use of MCP in real life project? So MCP is very, very powerful when you want to give AI superpowers, LLM superpowers that includes things like new information that doesn't exist when the AI was trained. That includes private and proprietary information that the AI doesn't have. Also includes performing actions on behalf of users or just performing actions in general, because AI LLMs, they're static large language models. They can't really do things without MCP servers. So MCP servers really empower them to do anything that you can think of in the project. You can, of course, use it in your development workflow, which is what we're currently doing. You can see our project is being built right now. It also includes things like customer-facing, client-facing interactions, including like chats and things like that, which we can cover in the next Global Hack Week, and we can build something using the Google Agent Development Kit. Hope that helps. Do you know any free APIs for video generation? So if you live in a country where Google Gemini is providing free AI Pro subscription, you should definitely check it out because it is free for students and they have a very generous quota on video generation. You can generate quite a few every day. But otherwise, you might have to sign up for a free trial or pay for some of these video generation models. They usually cost a lot of money, so we just want to make sure that you're being the most efficient and effective in using those tokens. All right, thank you for your comment there. And yeah, check Grok Imagine. I have not used that one. In the remaining time, could I tell you experience coding in MetaQuest? Oh, that was amazing. I mean, so I basically purchased a MetaQuest Pro, and there was an app, I can't remember the name, but essentially it lets you work in a VR environment. You can connect your MacBook Pro or any computer to it, really, and you can set up multiple screens. I think I had like 4 or 5 screens in front of me, and I set my background to like a beach or something, and it was really relaxing. You can basically lay down and look at all the screens. You can switch between screens really easily, and the screens are huge because essentially like you have full resolution of the Meta Quest Pro, like for your site. And the only two problems were like the resolution was good, 1080p, but it wasn't like as high resolution as my computer monitor. So that was a little bit unfortunate because it's not as easy on the ice. And two, the second problem was I wear glasses, so I get dry eye really, really quick and easily. And that was not so good there. But overall, it's great. And I know people who do it every day. They just lay down on a zero gravity chair or in their bed, and it's very good for their posture. They don't get back pains or anything like that. Let me know your thoughts if you have used AR or VR goggles before. Thanks for the session. It was great. Awesome. Yeah. Definitely build something just like I'm doing right now. In the last like 20 minutes, we're now building a MCP registry MCP server from scratch. You're so very welcome. Thank you. Here's a case. Code and create autonomous agents, LLMs, real-world data sets, solve real business challenges. Collaborate with top developers, designers, and entrepreneurs to build near MVP AI solutions. Can I use and deploy MCP? If so, how? So you can definitely use MCP to perform a lot of these things that you're describing. You first need to really split up your task into specialization agents, right? So you need to really split up your task. You can't just say, okay, one LLM do everything. You need to have sub-agents that work on pieces of things, and then everything can come together. Just like in a real-world project and real-world team, you have people specializing in different areas of the business and things like that. And you need to think about like what are some things that AI can do by itself using its existing knowledge, and what are the things that AI cannot do by itself, right? So that's where you really come in and start deciding like what are some of the MCP servers and how can they help with my workflow. So very cool idea, but definitely need to flesh out a little bit more, split up into smaller chunks. Lily, thank you so much for coming, and I'm hoping we can get this done very, very quickly here in the next 10 minutes, and we'll actually publish it, like speed run this, publish this new package to the NPM registry, and see how it goes. I think one thing I forgot to mention is I want it to be a standard IO MCP server. Let's see if it was done that way. I think so. Yeah, I think it was done that way, so that's perfect. Now it's creating some documentation, README, documentation. MPX, MCP registry, MCP server, that's perfect. So you notice it's using the Claude desktop example here again. I might just kind of have it reference this one, reference my previous MCP server project, and I can give it a link here. Okay, so it looks like the code has been completed. It's just creating the last documentation file. Does anybody remember how to run this project locally? How to run this MCP server locally? I asked it at the beginning, so I'm sure some of you already know the answer to that. It is creating a .vs code / mcp.json file. And we will pop in my MCP registry, MCP server. And we will do node. And argument is going to be dist index.js and no environment needed. Okay, so it's building and testing the server. I'm just gonna skip it for now. Pack dry run, sure. We can pack it dry run. Okay, looks like it worked. So let's start our server and we'll open up a new window. Okay, so it's creating a final documentation file. Let's wait for it to do that real quick. In the meantime, I will initialize the repository, package.json, your username. Okay, so let me create a new Git repo while we're at it. GitHub repo.new. If anybody remembers, you can use that shortcut to create the MCP server, MCP registry. Okay, so I created all the files here. That sounds good. It looks really good. I do want to fix the documentation though. Okay, it's creating a project summary. I don't think we need that right now, so I'm going to stop, create new, keep all the changes. Maybe we'll test the server right now. We'll test it first. Find Hacker News MCP server on the MCP registry. So this is actually testing out our MCP registry MCP server locally, just to see if it works. We can see examples as well. Okay, perfect. So it was able to identify the tool for this. I'm going to click allow. And it's getting some server details. So looks like somebody else also created a Hacker News MCP server. Yep, someone else also created it. But I'm going to ask look up HN MCP server, because that's the name for our server. Yep, I found it, right? And I'm going to click allow, and I can say install it in my mcp.json. Install the MCP server in my mcp.json. Awesome. So just like that, we also installed our Hacker News MCP server here. Just think about the possibilities. In just like less than 20 minutes, we were able to build a MCP registry MCP server that can help you install MCP servers in your repository and elsewhere. So that is really, really cool that we were able to do that in such a short period of time. And I don't think we'll have enough time to publish this, so I will publish it right after the session, and you can check it out. It's going to be called MCP Registry MCP Server. With that, does anybody else have any other questions? Great, great. For MCP servers, can I write in any other languages aside from JavaScript? You can. you can actually write it in a ton of languages. Let's go to modelcontextprotocol.com, and if you scroll to build an MCP server, you'll see examples in Python, Node, Java, Kotlin, C#, and also like this MCP protocol is an open source protocol. So essentially, like you can implement the protocol in any language of your choice. They just have examples in these 5 languages. So definitely check them out if you are interested in building some in the language of your choice. Thanks for your comment, Lily, and thank you for being here and joining us. With that, we have some key takeaways. I'll just slide back here. Today, maybe I'll just do a quick recap of everything that we've done over the 3 parts, and you can just go back to the section that you missed and rewatch if you're interested, or you can ask me right after my recap. So in part 1, we learned about what is an MCP server, what is an MCP client. We did live demos for GitHub, Context 7 for documentation, Chrome DevTools MCP for controlling a Chrome window, and MongoDB MCP servers to manage and query a MongoDB database. In part 2, we had AI play Wordle for us. It was a fail, but it was still very cool. We had it help us check into our Global Hack Week events. That was very helpful. And we started building our first MCP server, which is the Hacker News MCP server. We first used the vibe coding approach, and then we learned coding best practices using SpecKit. And today, we played Wordle again, and AI today was able to solve it in 1 try. Beard. That was really, really impressive. I don't know how it did it. Maybe it looked in the code. I don't know. And then we started testing out the MCP server that we built yesterday using MCP client like Copilot Agent and the MCP inspector tool from the official Model Context Protocol website. And then we prepared our MCP server for open source distribution. We published it to both the NPM registry as well as the official MCP registry. And then lastly, we were actually able to build a brand new MCP server in just like 10-15 minutes. That is the MCP registry MCP server, which I will be publishing to NPM and MCP registry right after this session. So you've really learned a lot this week in terms of MCP. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll take some questions now if you have any. Cool, can I try it in Python? Of course, you can definitely build the MCP server in Python. So if you go to this link here and just click Python, they have step-by-step instructions on how to build one. So you can see examples here. I will send that link in the chat right now. So it looks like a lot of you are Python fans. Definitely check out this link to build your first MCP server. Okay, I am so glad you're able to make it to my sessions, and these topics are very interesting to me as well, and I'm glad that y'all found it useful. With that, I'm going to request everybody to please go to mlh.link/GHW feedback and mlh.link/GHW feedback, and just select, you can search by MCP, and you can see our hands-on with MCP servers part 3 in the list, and you can tell me what you thought about this session. Just mention what you liked about it, what are some improvements that I can make to make this session even more useful and engaging for you in the future. And since we only have 90 seconds left, I'm going to show you what is happening next. That is going to be our session on robotic manipulation with PyBullet. So definitely check out this session if you're into hardware and robots. With that, thank you so much, everybody, for coming. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and happy hacking, everybody. Bye for now.